Hi, I'm KJ. I'm an interior designer from Mumbai, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how I helped a subscriber with her living room layout, and I also picked some furniture pieces for her space. The subscriber, who I'm going to refer as Mrs. S throughout the video, her space was huge. The living room that we were to design is 300 square foot in area. It was a little bit funny as a layout because it had a lot of multiple entry points, and I'm going to exactly show you what the challenges were when we were designing the space. But we finally managed to get a layout which works functionally and aesthetically for Mrs. S. So let's just get started with the video. Now let me take you through the layout of the existing space. Now this is a 3 BHK apartment in Hyderabad. It's got a living area, there are 3 bedrooms, there's a kitchen and there's a small wash area. Now if we were to zoom into the living space, the space is 300 square foot, but there used to be a wall here which the client has gone ahead and broken down. So this is why the living room is in an L shape. So now let me show you why the space was challenging. So as you can see, there is this main door here. But apart from the main door, there are many other doors along the entire periphery of the living room. So if you see, there's this door here which takes you to bedroom number 1. There's another entryway here which takes you to a toilet and another bedroom. There are windows to the balcony, so you need to have access to the balcony as well. Another entryway on the left which will again take you to another bedroom and the wash area, and then there's the entry to the kitchen door. What this does is that when you're establishing the various zones in your living room layout, it kind of breaks the flow or the circulation to each of these spaces. You can't plan independent zones without thinking about whether you're disrupting a flow to each of these entryways. The brief that Mrs. S gave me for her space was that she needed 2 distinct seating areas. She needed a TV watching space, a dining space, which could also double up as a study, and she also wanted storage for some miscellaneous stuff like, say, helmets or grocery bags, etc. For the aesthetics, if I were to put it verbatim, she said that she didn't want her space to feel like a hotel and she wanted a very homely vibe. I was quite happy to hear that. Another thing that I had to work with was that whatever we were to do with the space had to not involve a lot of heavy carpentry work, because she wanted her space to be done as soon as possible, and that could only be possible if we would get ready-made furniture pieces and just simply place them in the space. I tried many possibilities with the plan, and options after options after options, I finally came up with a plan that works for Mrs. S. So this is how I figured out the plan. You see, there are these 2 columns here. There is a beam joining the 2 columns which kind of creates a niche. I thought that this niche would be a perfect place for the TV and its unit. And then there is another niche which is kind of funny because it doesn't align with the beam on the left. However, I just thought that maybe we could use this niche in itself to kind of frame a sideboard or a display unit. Now these architectural units can sometimes pose as constraints while you're planning, but I've allowed these architectural elements to kind of dictate the positions of the TV unit and the sideboard. And it kind of seems logical to me that there is a niche framing each of these units. Now you know where the TV is, so you obviously need to have comfortable seating in front of it. Now if you notice that this seating area is kind of central to this rectangular zone here, And it is kind of imperative because, like I mentioned earlier, there are these multiple entry points, and it is important for you to have a clear passage to each of these entry points. So with some spaces, you just know where what furniture can go. But with this space, it was a little difficult to figure out because you can't simply plonk in furniture in different corners of the house. It needs to tie together as a plan and as a mood board, and there should be a good flow in between the furniture pieces as well as around the furniture pieces to each of these entryways. Now the problem is that there is not enough wall space which would have otherwise created a nice background for the furniture. In fact, it's so weird that the wall just ends abruptly behind the sofa. So I added a screen here which will just visually extend the wall. Now the screen is like a jali of sorts when you see it as a whole, but it is actually made of smaller equal sized frames. Now this product really appealed to me because A, it's going to allow natural light from the balcony side to flow into this side of the space, and B, because I thought it would be quite a good fit for Mrs. S because she just wanted to avoid the hassle and not go down the custom carpentry route. And this particular product is quite easy to install. You just have to clip the first set of frames to the ceiling, and then you have to work your way downward by linking the rest of the frames. Now something very interesting happened while deciding the location for this seating space. So if you were to see the existing ceiling layout of the space, in total there are 3 ceiling fans, 2 on this side of the space and 1 near the entrance. These 2 fans are separated by a beam. Now I've intentionally center aligned the seating arrangement with the beam so that the beam could feature a pendant light which could fall right above the center table and make quite a statement. There was a little bit of empty wall space to the right of the sofa, and there was some wall space to the left of the door which I thought I could use and just place a nice console table which would be quite inviting to see as soon as you walk in through the main door. After adding the screen, it created a very nice discrete zone here. So I thought that it could make up for a cute little study. And of course, while planning this space, I ensured that there is a clear access to the balcony and to this passageway. Now, Mrs. S told me that she doesn't really use the dining table because as a family, they prefer sitting on the floor and eating their meals. But she specified that just in case if there is an elderly who's come and visit her, she would like to have a dining table which could be comfortably used by a senior for dining. So in such instances, I thought that the study table could be used as a dining table when needed. Which is why I selected these chairs because they're easy to move and they can be used both as a study chair and as a dining chair. But if you were to use it as a reading chair for a decent amount of time, it wouldn't be the most comfortable, which is why I've added this cute poof here because it can offer footrest. So I would like to imagine that this corner of the house has turned out to be a very relaxing and unwinding sort of a corner. It opens up into the balcony space. I think that Mrs. S and her family will really enjoy this space where they can just sit and chill, relax, unwind, enjoy a cup of coffee in the balcony. And if you were to move some furniture pieces on the left, you can also clear up some floor space and one can enjoy a good workout here. So yeah, overall I just feel like this space has turned into quite a cozy corner. And lastly, there were a few empty wall spaces which did look a little awkward. So I thought that adding some picture frames on these wall spaces would be a good idea and it will really help to tie all the loose ends in the space. So when I was approached for this project by Mrs. S, I knew that I couldn't really break or make new walls to create a successful layout. And you can see that I've simply just populated the space with some furniture pieces, and I've literally just worked with what I have to create a cozy living space. So this wraps up the living room design ideas for Mrs. S. I hope you liked it. Just so you know, this entire process and the communication between me and Mrs. S was done online. I didn't have to go to Hyderabad. It was all done via Zoom calls and WhatsApp messages, and it worked out pretty seamlessly, I would say. I've consolidated all of this information in Excel sheets and other documents, and I've already handed it over to Mrs. S, and she's well on her way to procuring all of the furniture pieces, and I'm very excited to see what her space looks like.